at some point, I want to get out of this. At some point, I actually want to sell. But as I started to drill in deeper, and I'm sure for those who can relate to me, that as you started to learn more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and everything else in between, you somehow realize that it's not just merely a commodity that you would get into for a flip. And I think that should be the narrative, that if you are in it for the long term, you should look at it above and beyond a financial instrument, that you should look at it above and beyond the buying and selling. Hey guys, so I want to share my biggest realizations also in the cryptocurrency market. So please do note this, I've been a longer time stock market investor, REIT investor, ETF investor, bond investor, insurance investor than the cryptocurrency market. And I've been very transparent that even though I heard about the cryptocurrency market in 2013, started investing in 2018, but I had the time to only double down and learn more about it when the lockdown started. It has been an ongoing process for me that what are the things that I could learn more about this? What are the things that I need to renew my mind in terms of learning more about this fascinating new technology? Here's an honest answer, that before I didn't really view it as technology. I just view it similar to the way I viewed stocks, that it was something that you bought that at a certain point you would sell. And what's worse, even when I started, was I was thinking that, okay, because everyone's just aping into this, at some point I need to get out, because if I don't get out, it's gonna drop it. It was so fascinating for me to see people in the space that were longer, that they weren't actually planning to sell, they weren't actually planning to get out. I met someone a couple of years back that he was able to enter the cryptocurrency market when Bitcoin was below 1,000. And when I was talking to him, I was surprised that why wasn't he planning to bring his money back to peso? Why was he okay that it was in Bitcoin? I always looked at it that way. I always looked at Bitcoin as a trade. I always looked at it as a point where it had a means to an end. I was looking at it from a stock market perspective. I was looking at it from that approach, that at some point, I want to get out of this. At some point, I actually want to sell. But as I started to drill in deeper, and I'm sure for those who can relate to me, that as you started to learn more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and everything else in between, you somehow realize that it's not just merely a commodity that you would get into for a flip. And I think that should be the narrative, that if you are in it for the long term, you should look at it above and beyond a financial instrument, that you should look at it above and beyond the buying and selling. My biggest suggestion is that you look at it as a piece of technology. That's one of the greatest things that you could ever see about Bitcoin. That's one of the greatest things that it has done for the world. That there's a lot of technological advancements that Bitcoin has done that is changing and shaping the world. And it's true that not a lot of people understand it. It's true that 97% of the population isn't there yet. And it took a while also for me to understand it. It's so true that I was part of the population who was actually saying that, this is not going anywhere, this is a bubble, this is a tulip, it's just gonna drop. But the more I studied it, the more that I realized that this is changing a lot of things. And I want to segment it. And please do remember that what Bitcoin addresses is the ability to be able to transfer digital property, digital assets in lightning fast speeds, that you get to send something borderless in a very, very cheap way compared to other traditional means, compared to everything else that's out there. Bitcoin allowed borderless transactions to be very, very cheap, very, very fast. But that being said, as Bitcoin has been one of the legacy cryptocurrencies out there, there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies that allow you to send assets in a very, very fast way, in a very, very cheap way, that's even better and faster than Bitcoin. And that's why if you look at the other cryptocurrencies out there, from Avalanche to Polygon to Luna, they almost have the same function as what Bitcoin is doing, but in a cheaper way, but in a faster way. In a way also, it somehow is less decentralized than Bitcoin, but it solves a lot of the problems that Bitcoin can't actually do. And what's interesting about that, and I've been saying this in a lot of videos, that the fact that you could build programs around them, the fact that you could build smart contracts around them, makes it amazing, makes it very, very interesting. And that's what I think people should look at. There's a lot of talk about the price of Bitcoin, price of Ethereum, price targets, where it could actually be, what's the actual narratives of this, what happens when it pumps, what happens when it dumps. But at the end of the day, when you see it as a piece of technology, when you see it as a pioneer, that you are first in the space, that even though there were 1 or 2% of the population ahead of you into the cryptocurrency market, there's still 97% of the world that's not in there. There's still 97+% of the world that's trying to learn it. But what's interesting about this is you always look at Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies as a whole, similar to where we were when the internet started. You are investing in the protocols that not a lot of people had the chance to invest in. So we all were investing in the application layers, from Amazon to Facebook to Google to Twitter, etc. But the layers below that, the protocol layers, we didn't have any access to that. We didn't have the ability to invest into that. We didn't have the ability to, if they became successful, we had a shot, we had an opportunity to also reap the benefits of it. No one invested in TCP/IP, no one invested in HTTPS, no one invested into HTML or FTP. Those were all protocols highly connected to the internet. What we invested in were the ones that were built on top of it. But right now, what I want you to also see is, as a piece of technology, those smart contract layer blockchains are the protocols, are the layers that when the internet started, we didn't have a piece of. Because I really believe that Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, Algorand, Near, or any of those L1 blockchains are the ones that apps will be built on top of. And you've seen it there. Even for Ethereum, the fact that the NFTs are blowing up, the fact that dApps, decentralized applications, are blowing up on top of those blockchains, goes to show that when people start to understand that you could do something with those apps, then people will start to realize that, hey, there's a lot of merit into this. And probably they'll invest in the companies that are highly connected to those apps. But what's interesting about that is the layers beneath it, the protocols beneath it, the tokens that run those things. Those are things that are investable. Those are things that we can participate in. Since it's game-changing, since it's revolutionary, since a lot of people don't understand it yet, you have an opportunity right now, equal opportunity to learn it, equal opportunity to study it, equal opportunity to be able to build a base, to build a conviction on what is it actually, on what is it changing, on what is it disrupting, on what makes it very, very interesting. I guess this whole spiel is me saying the price will always be volatile. If you want to be successful in this, look beyond the price. Look at the technology. Look at what it's changing. Look at what could be done on top of it. I could go on and on and on the projects that are changing things. NFTs allow you to own a piece of digital assets that before you never had ownership of. VET allows you to create something that's highly connected to logistics, that you get to track everything via the blockchain. Decentralized finance protocols or applications allows you to loan without having a bank account, allows you to borrow money without the hassle of all of those paperworks, without the hassle of being denied, without the hassle or the fear that you won't be able to borrow because this is your job, because this is your status, this is your credit history. Now everything has become borderless. Now everyone has equal chance. If you're an overseas worker, it's now easier for you to remit and transfer money borderless in a very, very fast way. And if that alone becomes its single use case, that you get to send an asset in a very, very fast and timely manner that's cheap and fast, that's already game changing. That will already disrupt an entire ecosystem of remittances. And what's interesting is we're just beginning. I'm excited to see how this will play out in the next 10 years. I'm excited to see how this will play out over the next decades. We have the smartest people working on this. As they continue to make things better, as they continue to disrupt things, suddenly 10, 20, 30 years from now, what seems to be far-fetched from today will be part of the norm. What seems to be far-fetched today will just be looking at it that it's normal. And that happened in the 90s. Emails, sending files, browsing stuff, communicating. That wasn't normal in the 90s, but it's normal now. In the same way, 10, 20, 30 years from now, everyone will be communicating via wallet. Finance will be decentralized. The tech companies will own banks, and it will be easier for people also to take out loans, and it will be easier for people who don't have bank accounts to be able to send money, to transact and transfer money, that everyone has the ability to invest, and everything will be borderless as well. I think we are living in very exciting times. We are living in the days where there's so much innovation that's going on, and I'm excited. Comment below if you guys are excited, if this is something worth thinking about. If you guys learned a lot from this, put it in the comment section below, put in your questions, and I'm glad to make more videos about it. If you want to join us for any of our seminars, check it out down below. We have a live seminar coming out this March. We have a lot of technical and fundamental analysis seminars also for all of you. We also have books that I've written that are available in Shopee and Lazada. And if you want to invest in the crypto market, the stock market, and everything else in between, check out the links in the description below. I guess that's it. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.